thing that consumers will notice straight away is that there will be no ticketing on each individual item, the cans, the packets they actually buy. They'll have to rely wholly on the marked price on the shelf, which means for a start they're deprived of that initial information once their goods are in the basket. They can't make comparisons between similar items, for instance canned, frozen or fresh produce for instance, within the supermarket, unless they start to write all this stuff down themselves. And also, of course, it means that once they get to the checkout, they won't be able to gauge the prices they're being charged, because the whole system, of course, is so fast. This whole novelty of an automated checkout, that consumers will feel they're going to move through those checkouts much faster, and in the short term probably they will. But what we're concerned about is that on information overseas, that gradually perhaps the number of these automated checkouts will reduce, and we're still going to get the banking, the queuing at the supermarket checkout. And then all the other disadvantages will come to the surface, and what we'll have is a large proportion of very irate consumers. But it's such a complex area. This APN system is really only one of many areas which is disadvantaging the small store. They won't be able to compete in many areas. Of course, through the APN, prices again, of course, can be reduced by massive cuts in staffing, which I think a lot of people don't really realise. This has been so in the UK and in the United States. So all these things lead to a lack of competition. It disadvantages the small man. Eventually the choice will go. Consumers will no longer have the places to shop at. They will eventually lose the choice. And of course, once we get total monopolisation, the prices will of course rise sky high.